Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Never Trump Republicans are now buying into one of Democrats' dumbest beliefs: it's awful. One disappointing trend from 2017 that seems like it will continue into this year is the fact that there is a contingent of Never Trump Republicans who are just as obnoxiously opposed to our country's democratically elected president as Democrats are. This group of RINOs keeps moving more and more to the left, to the point that in many ways they have become indistinguishable from self-identified Democrats. As one piece of disturbing evidence of this trend, these anti-Trump conservatives have bought into one of liberals' most baseless ideas. Outsider Donald Trump was elected in part because so many Americans, whites, blacks, Hispanics and others alike, have been suffering economically as a result of the policies put in place by members of the political elite like Democrat Barack Obama. Instead of acknowledging that America has a growing class issue, liberals are instead presenting Americans' problems as a race issue. Leftists have promoted the idea of white privilege, which conservatives used to scoff at. Now anti-Trump Republicans such as neoconservative Max Boot are agreeing with this idea. Boot even wrote an article in Foreign Policy magazine titled "I used to be a smart alecky conservative who scoffed at political correctness. The Trump era has opened my eyes." Never Trumper Boot wrote, blaming Donald Trump and white privilege, "It has become impossible for me to deny the reality of discrimination, harassment, even violence that people of color and women continue to experience in modern-day America from a power structure that remains for the most part in the hands of straight, white males. People like me, in other words. Whether I realize it or not, I have benefited from my skin color and my gender, and those of a different gender or sexuality or skin color have suffered because of it. Do you think anti-Trump conservatives like Boot should quit pretending and just admit that they are Democrats?" Lib Chelsea Handler just lectured whites about how they oppress other people. She got destroyed. Netflix comedian Chelsea Handler has established herself as one of the loudest and dumbest voices on the left during Republican Donald Trump's campaign and presidency. Over New Year's, she decided to extend her commentary beyond politics into the realm of social and racial issues in our country. Handler read something on the internet and was evidently so impressed with herself that she decided to share it with people on Twitter. She wrote, "I hope you take the time to read this very important article in the hopes of us all having a better understanding of what it feels like to be oppressed. And, of course, wishing the world more peace and love this coming year, in every color, every country." Unsurprisingly, the far-left article was about white privilege. Part of it stated, "Whiteness, in other words, continues to pay tangible benefits, and for right or wrong, it makes some sense that its primary beneficiaries are loath to support candidates who expressly promise to disrupt this privileged status." People with some common sense immediately pointed out what a hypocrite Handler was for promoting this article. Wrote one Twitter user, "Do you know what it's like to be oppressed? As you go home to your multi-million-dollar mansion?" Handler responded with a tantrum, saying, "No, you fucking idiot, I'm actually going to a house that I overpaid to rent for my friends and family. Because I gave away so much money to people in need this year, I decided to treat myself to a vacation." Another person posted, "You probably know nothing about being in that whole white working class. It's a different world than that whole privileged and entitled place you live in." Handler completely contradicted her whole argument by writing back, "Yes, I know nothing because I'm white." This made someone get an amazing burn-in. They wrote, "No, you know nothing because you're a dumbass. Don't blame your stupidity on your race. Do you think Chelsea Handler is an idiot?" Fox News trolls Kathy Griffin in the ultimate way in New Year's Eve parody. Kathy Griffin has been a part of CNN's New Year's Eve coverage since 2007. However, this year she wasn't invited due to posing with a decapitated Trump head. Kathy Griffin usually co-anchors with Anderson Cooper. But this year she was hanging out with Fox's Jesse Waters. Or at least an actress playing Kathy Griffin was. "Weren't you fired?" Waters asked Kathy Griffin, played by Fox News' Kennedy. "I was just trying to get ahead," responded Griffin. "Why did the chicken cross the road?" "Because Anderson Cooper kicked it off the New Year's Eve show," she joked. "Knock knock," said Kennedy. "Who's there?" asked Waters. "Anderson Cooper," responded Kennedy. "Anderson Cooper who?" asked Waters. "Exactly, you're dead to me," joked Kennedy. They kept the jokes coming. "Why does a golfer wear two pairs of pants?" "In case Anderson Cooper gets a hole in one," joked Kennedy. The real Kathy Griffin has still refused to apologize for her obscene Trump picture. She has since cried that Trump broke her and ruined her life for the photo she took. She has even attacked Trump's children for bullying her. "I'm no longer sorry. The whole outrage was BS. The whole thing got so blown out of proportion. And I lost everybody. I had Chelsea Clinton tweeting against me. I had friends, Deborah Messing, from Will and Grace, tweeting against me. I mean, I lost everybody. And so I have been through the mill. I didn't just lose like, one night on CNN, my entire tour was cancelled within 24 hours because every single theater got all these death threats," whined Griffin in an August interview. WikiLeaks releases new bombshell about Hillary's collusion during the election just in time for ball drop. While the mainstream media tries to pretend that Trump colluded with Russia without evidence, the truth is that they colluded with Hillary Clinton during the election campaign. WikiLeaks released a shocking new bombshell showing the New York Times telling the United States government what articles it will release 9 days in advance. Email shows New York Times handed over Cablegate's publication schedule to the U.S. government, without telling at WikiLeaks, giving the State Department, then headed by Hillary Clinton, up to 9 days in advance to spin the revelations or create diversions, tweeted WikiLeaks. I just went through preparing our Gitmo and Korea cables for posting. We're posting no Gitmo cables that mention so North Korea and Gitmo are the stories running Tuesday, writes the New York Times writer Scott Shane for U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Public Affairs Philip J. Crowley, who worked under Hillary Clinton at the time. Wednesday is Pakistan and Blackwater. Thursday is Russia and Canada. Friday is Afghan corruption and Karzai, two separate stories. Saturday is Yemen. Sunday is China. Monday is terrorist financing and possibly something on Iraq for which you have no cables yet. Tuesday is arms trade, weapons, and possibly something on NATO for which you have no cables yet, wrote Shane. So I hope we can have a talk tomorrow about Pakistan and Blackwater at the very least. It would be great to get farther through the stack, wrote Shane. Warning: Kim Jongun just released the time and place of his next attack. This is serious. The North Korea situation is starting to heat up. The Hermit Kingdom has issued a warning that a plan to attack waters near Guam will be put into place by mid-August. A statement released by the state-run news agency KCNA said the mid-August plan will involve a historic enveloping fire at Guam. After the plan is set in place, the government will then keep closely watching the speech and behavior of the U.S. and wait for orders from Kim Jong-un. A commander of the North Korean army told CNN. The U.S. president at Gulf Links again let out a load of nonsense about fire and fury, failing to grasp the ongoing grave situation. It seems that he has not yet understood the statement. Sound dialogue is not possible with such a guy bereft of reason, and only absolute force can work with him. After Pyongyang announced that it had developed a miniaturized nuclear warhead, President Trump warned North Korea that he would unleash fire and fury like the world has never seen if the country continues to make threats against the U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis clarified President Trump's statement. The DPRK must choose to stop isolating itself and stand down its pursuit of nuclear weapons. The DPRK should cease any consideration of actions that would lead to the end of its regime and the destruction of its people. These people are messed up. The North Korean regime brutalizes its own people and threatens world peace every day. No matter what crazy thing they say next, we can feel safe knowing we now have a president who is ready to stand up to them. HT Fox 6 Now, The Hill. James Comey just tried to insult Trump on New Year's. It backfired brutally. Over the past 2 years, fired former FBI Director James Comey has thoroughly disgraced himself to Democrats and Republicans alike. Republicans cannot stand him because he clearly did the Democratic Party a huge favor by letting Hillary Clinton off without any charges. Democrats hate him because he reopened the FBI's investigation into Clinton right before Election Day, torpedoing her last chance of getting elected. After returning to private life, Comey truly should keep his mouth shut, particularly since fellow former FBI Director Robert Mueller is conducting a highly controversial investigation into President Donald Trump and his circle. Instead, impulsive Comey decided to try and insult Trump over New Year's. Through his Twitter account, Comey threw out a thinly veiled dig at President Trump, insinuating that he is a liar. Comey posted, "Here's hoping 2018 brings more ethical leadership, focused on the truth and lasting values. Happy New Year, everybody." It did not take long to others to point out how hypocritical Jim's statement was. Replied one Twitter user, "Well, you didn't show too much ethical leadership when you let Strzok and Lynch tell you how to word certain legal matters when dealing with Mrs. Clinton. And didn't show it when you leaked a memo to the Times to get your boy Mueller in charge of BS Russia probe. Pot calling kettle black." Another hit just as hard, writing, "So much corruption happened under your watch yet you're still pretending life is grand, prancing in fields, tossing out Bible quotes, getting millions for your story - a story to which we already know the ending. I feel sad for you. Do you think Comey has zero right to call anyone else unethical or a liar?